Hey guys, just got done watching 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 40th anniversary edition from Tobe Hooper. Yep, I'd seen this film many times before, but I wanted to watch it one more time so I could review it. Plus, I hadn't seen the new copy, and I do prefer it this way round because it's like shutting the door like it does in the movie. So, I really don't like the case that much because it's very cheap cardboardy, but that's not the point. So basically, the film stars Madeline Burns, Alan Danziger, Paul A. Partain, William Val, Terry McMinn, Edwin Neal, Jim Sodo, Gunnar Hansen, John Duggan, and Robert Colton as the window cleaner. That's believable. Anyway, so basically, the film starts off with a bit of writing that says, about how the five teens didn't expect this to happen, especially Franklin and Sally, because they were just going for a road trip. And then it basically has this radio message about how skeletons were pulled out of the ground and they were saying horrible was done to them on a statue. And basically, that's why Sally and Franklin are there, I'm guessing. Because they go to see they're driving along to see their grandparents' graves because they've been dug up or something. And, well, that's what it seemed like anyway. So afterwards, they go driving. There's a lot of talking in the movie, character development. Jerry in particular is the funniest one because he looks pure 70s with his glasses, his like afro hair, and kind of way. He looks like he's going to Saturday Night Fever's dance club. That's what he looks like. Kirk and Pam are like boyfriend, girlfriend. I think Jerry was with Sally. I think Franklin. So poor Franklin is disabled, he's in a wheelchair, and I think he's got some mental health issues as well. Because the way he acts and the way he talks, which kind of was quite depressing later on in the movie, and I'll tell you why. So basically, they're going along and they see a hitchhiker. And they decide to pick that hitchhiker up. And that hitchhiker is none other than Edwin Neal. Who basically I basically pick him up and he sits down and he's a little bit creepy. And he says he works at the slaughterhouse. So him and Franklin get talking about and Franklin goes about it's easier to shoot them because the smell of the thing and because it's less painful. And the hitchhiker, Ed Neal, says, no, it's better to hit them. A lot more aim that way and all this. And he gets Franklin's knife and cuts himself. He goes, creeps everybody out, takes a picture of them with his camera, tries to charge them $2. They say no. He grabs hold of his knife, starts slashing Franklin's arm. They kick him out. He starts chasing after the van, going like this. And you think, wow, what a nut job. Never pick up a hitchhiker. Because they're always the same, creepy and scary. That's what this film's telling you, right? So they go along, they end up stopping off at a gasoline station or a petrol station, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are. And they meet this old man. He seems like a very nice old man. A little bit weird, but I'm guessing you're supposed to think they're weird anyway because they're from Texas. And most people who don't live in Texas think people in Texas are weird. And I've had a few friends from Texas and they're not exactly, they can be quite woohoo eccentric. And not a bad thing. And basically, he tells them this stuff and they decide to go off and they go to the grandparents' house of Franklin and Sally. And that's where the party starts. That's why it's empty and they leave Franklin downstairs while Jerry and Sally go upstairs and Kirk and Pam decide they want to go to the swimming pool. Now, there's a swimming pool that belongs to that house and no one's lived there for a very long time. I wouldn't want to swim in it. So they go walkies about and they hear this engine and all this other stuff. And then they come across this house. And Kirk goes inside. I'm sure it's Kirk. Kirk goes inside and Pam waits outside. He goes, hello, anybody there? Anybody there? And no one answers, so he walks in further. All of a sudden he is, and you're like, uh-oh. Granny's on the loose. But no, it's Leatherface, that's right. Leatherface played by Gunnar Hansen. Well, I have to say he's a very good Leatherface, and I'll tell you why in a minute once I get past the story. So he goes, hits him right on the head, and then you see the body fall, and you see his body shaking. Like, and I love that. It was a great special effect because that's what a body's like. Get traumatized when you're dying, you shake a bit because, you know. So Pam goes, Kirk, are you there? Kirk. And she goes inside. Leatherface pops out again. She goes to run out the door. She gets outside. Just as she's about to get off the porch, he puts his arms around her and grabs hold of her. Pulls her in. How terrifying is that? So close, but so far. He then drops her on a meat hook, holding her by the back. Facing right towards where her dead boyfriend is. Now, to me, this was probably the most disturbing and creepiest part of the film. Because she's on that meat hook, she can't move, she can't get away, she's crying, her dead boyfriend's in front of her. And what does Leatherface do? He goes to get the chainsaw to cut up her boyfriend in front of her. Yeah, it's creepy. So I thought that was kind of the most disturbing part of the movie, for me, to be honest. So basically, later on, Jerry decides he wants to go looking for them because he don't know where they are. So Franklin and Sally are on their own, and they have like their family dispute because they're related, you know, their brother and sister. She's a bit tired of him because, I guess, because he's disabled and got mental health issues. And I'm guessing it's quite taxing on her, you know. But what I think she forgets is it's very taxing on Franklin too, because it's not his fault he's the way he is. You know, it's not, you know, it's like if my hand got cut off tomorrow. I didn't have a hand and I couldn't do things with it. It would be my fault if I couldn't touch my wife's face. It won't be her fault, but I couldn't. Completely different, but you get what I'm saying. So basically, Jerry goes up about walkabouts, and you're like, yeah, come on, kill this ultimate 70s weirdo looking thing. Nah, people. I kept thinking, come on, do the night fever dance, baby. And so he goes looking, and basically, he finds the blanket that they had with them. And he opens up the freezer because he hears a noise, and Pam goes, oh, and Leatherface comes in, wallop, dollop, right in the eye, boom, done, dusted. So now we've only got Franklin and we've got Sally left, and it's getting dark now, and it's night time, and they've got a flashlight. So he has on with him, give me the flashlight, Franklin, give me the flashlight, I need it. So he goes, I'll go with you. So they're going through the bushes, and they're looking, and all of a sudden, who pops out? Leatherface. And starts cutting him in the stomach. Franklin, that is. On his wheelchair. Probably one of the greatest disabled kills I've ever seen in my life. Then Sally runs off. And he's chasing her for, I guess, about 10 minutes. Leatherface, this is. And she comes across the old man at the gas station. And he goes, don't worry, there's no one out there. I'll help you. I'll help you. I'll help you, darling. And then it turns out that he's working with him, basically. I'm guessing he's their dad. I'm guessing the dad of Leatherface. And basically ties her up, throws her in the truck. And there's this scene when he's driving along where he keeps pushing her down with this stick, and she's like, oh, and he goes, don't worry, no, they do that. And the creepiness that he enjoys that, it's really, really creepy. So he pulls up, and who do we see walking down the road? The hitchhiker. That's right, he's related to him too. He then the old man gets out of the car, beats him up, they get in, they get back, and they get to us, and who's there? Leatherface, with looking like he's been the overweight, disturbed Texas Chainsaw Massacre version Norman Bates' mother when Norman Bates is dressed up. He's got a grey wig and he's got skin on, and it's like being like a mother kind of thing. And basically the old man, I'm guessing his dad, basically beats him and says to him, you fool, no one of them got away, did they? He's like, no. And you're like, but he does say that, goes, and points at the things. So then you get them at dinner, and it turns out, guess who's coming to dinner? Grandpa. That's right, grandfather. That's it, their grandfather. Who's obviously got a mask on because it's so bad, but you can go with it. And they're eating at dinner, and she's sitting there, and they're eating, they're basically going, "Oh, you're gonna die. Grandfather's gonna hit you like he did the slaughterhouse." And you're sitting there going, "Ooh," but he's so weak. So what they do to get him going, they cut her finger and put it in his mouth. He starts sucking on it. He goes like this, and you're like, "Oh, he's getting excited by this." So they bend her over and basically keep pointing his hand. He keeps dropping it. Then he hits her. Then the hitchhiker's son gets a bit overzealous and decides he wants to hit her, and she gets away. She jumps out of a window for the second time in the movie. Don't know how she done it. Second time, runs away, and then the famous scene comes up where basically the black mama truck pulls up, and out comes the big bloke who basically gets her in the truck, but they don't drive off. He goes out the other side. And he runs away with her, and he throws the thing at her, the wrench at him, and it hits him, and he ends up, and Leatherface ends up chainsawing his leg. And basically, the bloke continues running off, even though another truck turns up, and she jumps in the back. He doesn't jump in the back with her; he just keeps on running. So the truth is, so then as she goes away, she's screaming, "Ah, get out of here! Leave! Come on, drive!" Basically, with blood all over her. And it's that moment when you realise this woman's been through a severe, severe time. She's lost everybody, right? And then you see Leatherface swinging the chainsaw like this, which is, I think, is one of the most iconic moments in horror history. Because you've got to be a bit sick to be able to just go like that with a chainsaw and not be worried about your life. So, okay, now going to characters, I thought the plot development was quite good of each character. I found Sally and Franklin's relationship probably the most interesting part. The other characters, not so much. But they were the two main kind of victims, if you know what I mean. Leatherface, Gunnar Hansen plays Leatherface perfectly. Very manly, very big, very kind of like, I can kill you, but also so simple and so lost and doesn't know who he is and doesn't know what's going on. Wears his faces, moves away, so cowardly when it comes to his dad, but at the same time it's so manly and so scary because it can just hit you over the head and kill you without thinking about it. When he first kills Kirk, there's no thought about it. He just pops out and goes boom. Doesn't even think about ending the life or anything, and that's scary. Now I can imagine that was a lot more scary back in the 70s. The hitchhiker, Edward Neal, at the beginning. Great character. So creepy. So bonkers. You're sitting there, just every move he does. Like, he sets the picture they won't buy on fire, and he's laughing about it, and they're all like, "Ah, no, because the car's on fire practically. In the van. And you're sitting there going, fucking hell, this guy's bonkers. The old man, when you first meet him at the gasoline station, you do think there's something off about him. But in my view, he's the most disturbed of the three. Because he's got a sense of kind of being in charge kind of thing. And that's more disturbing. When you can be kind of in control of people that are severely mentally unstable, you must be even more unstable yourself in some aspect. I kept wanting him to get it, but he didn't. But the hitchhiker did. He got run over, which was like, yeah, because as she's trying to get away, he's going on her and cutting her. So I did enjoy it. And the grandfather, the guy who played grandfather, John Dugan, who technically doesn't really matter because you don't see him, you just see the, you know, the mask and that, played it really well. I thought the character was well. I thought it was good. I thought it was exciting. I loved seeing the grandpa trying to hit him and not being able to. Because they do the same thing in number 2 as well. With the grandfather and he misses constantly. But the grandfather actually looks more realistic in number 2. So we're going to get, now let's get down to Franklin. Franklin Hardesty. Sally's brother. Now, he basically, I'm guessing because the way he is very disabled because he's in a wheelchair. And he feels stuck in his existence and he's very sad. Because there's a scene early on when they get to the house and they've all left him and he's trying to move and he can't move and he calls for help. And it's such a depressing scene because I think anybody who's had any sort of disability, or can really understand the character of Franklin really well, because it's not a horrible person, and it's not a horrible person, but it's also not a nice person. He's kind of got to the point where I think the point of the character is the fact that he constantly needs help to be able to move about a lot, especially in thinking, and it's kind of made him a little bit better. Now, as somebody who's got a disabled mother and had some disabled family members in my life, I can understand where this character comes from. I think anyone can. And basically, the character feels so alone, doesn't want to be left alone, and he wants to help. But at the same time, by trying to help, it's also holding Phil back because of his disability. And that can really get to you as a person, because you want to help, but if you can't help because it's holding Phil back because you can't do what you want to do, it affects your mind even more. So I felt bad for Franklin, and I was quite depressed that he died, especially the way he did, because he couldn't help himself. Plus, there's the slight that there was I'm sure he had mental health condition as well, because the way he acted at times. But I can't say for sure. But he was probably the character I related to the most and felt bad for the most. Not because of his being disabled, but because of his situation. Because, one of those things. Sally Hardesty, played by Marilyn Burns, was excellent. She's that good girl who wants to have fun. She's having fun with her friends, wanting to do what she needs to do, and then shit happens. The hitchhiker, then basically Leatherface, and then the old man for her, and then Leatherface, and the hitchhiker again. And when she finally gets away, you can tell she's not the same woman anymore. You can tell that it's really affected her, that she's gone slightly crazy. I would have liked to have seen a part 2 with her in. With it kind of telling you a bit about what happened to her afterwards. But at the same time, it's kind of good they didn't, because it leaves you hanging, thinking, did she end up locked up in a mental asylum? Did she end up okay? No. All you know is that she drove off in the distance with the sun in front of her, and the sun guy ended up behind her, basically, and they were getting away. So the film itself was great. It was only 84 minutes long. It wasn't bad. Awesome. It was great watching it again. Very iconic, very special. And to be honest with you, it's one of those films that I can't watch a lot of all the time. But when I do watch it, it stays with me for a good while. Not because it's horrifying, but because I find it's got great characters in it. And the development of the characters kind of stick with me. And most horror films, you watch a horror film and you're like, oh, I didn't care about that character. But you get characters like Franklin and Sally, and they stick with you because of the importance of their situations. And I found them both very thrilling to watch. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 40th anniversary edition. Is it worth watching? Yes. If you've never watched this film, where have you been? You should have watched this by now. If you have watched it, then I recommend getting this if you haven't got this, or the still book coming out in England, because it's worth it for the extras as well. I think the English one's got the extras as well coming on it, but either way, it's worth it. I highly recommend this set. I hate the quality of the pack, the cardboard, but I recommend it. In case you haven't seen it properly, here's a quick little unboxing kind of thing. I open it up like that, you see. Very nice, eh? I don't like the discs being stuck on each other, and I don't like the cardboard case, but other than that, it's great. So yeah, I highly recommend watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre if you've never watched it. Classic film, a true horror gem of its time, and well worth the time to invest 83 minutes. It says 83 minutes. To invest 83 minutes watching. So thanks for watching, guys. Oh, there was another bit in it. When they're eating at a table, there's like this human head skin on the lamp, like on the on the light. And Leatherface has got 3 different masks he wears through this. One of an elderly lady, one of I'm guessing a woman's face with makeup on, and another one of just being a boy, basically. And the skin that's on the light is pretty disturbing because you can see all through it. But yeah, excellent film. Highly recommend it. Give it a go. Definitely watch this. Let me know what you think of it. If you have seen it, and most people surely have, let me know. If you haven't, why haven't you watched it? And go out and buy it on my recommendation. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care and have a lovely day.